And moving on, it's a big humanitarian gesture in the Arabian Sea by the Indian Coast Guard team. Authorities from China last night dialed India's Maritime Rescue Co-ordination Center in Mumbai, seeking help after 10 Chinese fishing vessels moving towards Iran in North Arabian Sea faced very rough sea conditions. The Coast Guard subsequently activated its search, located the vessels and allowed them in. Jugal Purohit now joins me live from the newsroom. Jugal, just take us through the details. That was a big humanitarian gesture on part of the Indian Coast Guard.
Well, more so on the part of the Indian state as such. You know, while it may seem a little odd to people on land, but at sea, humanitarian assistance is something which is very, very common. It just happens to be something between India and China, two nations which otherwise have had a very checkered past, if one can call it so. In this particular instance, we are given to understand that late last evening, from the side of the Chinese authority, the Indian Coast Guard's Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, which is a hub in Mumbai looking at all the rescue efforts and wherever there is a need for the same, was informed that there are 10 trawlers which were traversing between Jakarta and Iran, and these trawlers were in the North Arabian Sea and facing extremely rough weather conditions, and there was a chance of them perhaps also encountering danger. Based on that, the vessels were immediately told to move towards the Indian side. The Indian Coast Guard also activated its own assets to sort of shadow them and keep an eye on them. And subsequently this morning, I'm given to understand that notwithstanding it being a humanitarian operation, their documents have to be checked. Any malafide, if at all, also needs to be ascertained. Remember, commercial fishing is also a concern in international waters. So all of this was checked, and this morning is when they were completely declared clean, and they've been granted refuge for a day in the North Gujarat port of Diu, from where tomorrow, weather permitting, they will be traversing out. So that's what's taken place. And as I said, the humanitarian assistance angle is what it is, while it may seem odd, but at sea, when there are just very few signs of help, this is something which is very, very common. Happens to be in this case that China has sought India's assistance, and the same was immediately given. Vedika?
And any word on China on this help extended by India?
Well, Vedika, the Chinese authorities on their part had activated and had done their bit when they informed the Indian counterparts that their vessels, their personnel were very close to the Indian coast, and that they needed assistance, they needed shelter. So having done that much, the Indian authorities, it was completely up to the Indian side, the Defence Ministry, the Coast Guard, the MEA, all of them got into action. Information was filtered late last night. Ships and planes went out, located these trawlers, shepherded them in to the port of Diu, after which, as I said, a thorough search was conducted just to ensure that everything was clean and that these vessels were on a bona fide passage between Jakarta and Iran. That's what's been ascertained, and
yes,
they will stay in Diu for tonight, and tomorrow, weather permitting, they will continue with their journey.